Show. Innovate, connect, and bloom.
Good evening. First time I say it on the Bloom Show. Welcome to the Bloom Show. This is Saeed. I am your host, and the Bloom Show is brought to you by Above All Flowers and New Bloom Solutions. This is a special edition. It's news updates out of Ecuador. Few people have reached out to us asking what is happening in Ecuador. There is a crisis. It's kind of an internal war. I'm not going to say much about it, but people are curious how it's going to affect our pricing, how it's going to affect Valentine's Day. Someone called me and said, "Oh my goodness, another situation during Valentine's Day," and that's when I got together with the gentleman Eduardo Letort, president of Expo Flor and president of Hoja Verde, and we said, "Why don't we come out and just give some light to share on what is happening in the facts?" This is just a 20-minute conversation. Again, we ask you to chime in, ask questions if you have any specific questions. If I forget to ask something, or if Eduardo doesn't mention anything. And again, it's a casual conversation just to get to the bottom of it, to understand what are the implications and how does this look when we get closer to Valentine's Day. So let me bring on Eduardo, just going straight to him as he's kind enough to be working after hours. And we're bringing you the late night show, you could say. So here we go. Hello, Eduardo.
Hello, Sahid. Hola.
How are you?
Thank you for having me here and try to understand what is going on here in this beautiful country of Ecuador.
Perfect. Thank you so much. I know I reached out to you just on Tuesday, and right away you were on board because you do think it is important to get the right message out. So thank you so much for your time. Truly appreciate it. And again, hopefully some people will ask questions so they could chime in. I'll let you know at the end of the show. So Eduardo, very simple. I think that the main thing is we all know who you are. So Eduardo, you are the president of Hoja Verde, great company out of Ecuador, and also the president of Expo Flor this year. So congratulations. So you know what you're talking about, which is important for us. So Eduardo, tell us what is happening at the moment in Ecuador. What is the crisis all about? Where did it come from? And where are we standing today?
Well, this crisis is it's coming from maybe about, 12, 14 years ago. When the President Correa opened the borders, he passed a law in which Ecuador had like the universal citizenship, so anyone could come to the country, and so there was a lot of people coming from Colombia, Venezuela, even East Europe, and being Ecuador a country which has the dollar as a local currency. And the ports to the Pacific, it was very easy to move the drug from Colombia, Peru to Europe through the ports, to the States, through the Galapagos, to the high sea, to the Pacific, and then up to the Central America and then North America, and that together with President Correa being kind of soft with control of the airspace, no radars. He canceled there was an agreement with the states about using the naval base of Manta as a port to control the narco traffic, and Correa finished that contract. So then the airspace was without much control at all. So then we had all these, the narco mafias develop inside. And then later on, they made like a strategic alliances, you could say, with the Mexican cartels. So then now we have the Jalisco cartel, a couple of cartels that also are involved here in Ecuador for the movement, for the narco traffic, Okay. So I think Ecuador's been the center of this situation now, but it's moving towards Peru. Now we hear problems in Bolivia. Argentina is facing this issue. So I think it's kind of a big thing going on now in this part of the world, and which is at the moment Ecuador is the epicenter of this situation, but is in a global scale now, and the problem is not only Ecuador; it's everywhere now.
And what have been the effects of this? So we've heard of some curfews, even electricity and stuff. But so what have been the effects of this
So
crisis at the moment?
in the last 2 3 years, we have seen a rising of homicides. The bands, the mafia gangs are fighting between each other to control the different territories, the ports, so they can ship the money. And on last Tuesday, not this Tuesday, Tuesday before, there was a big thing going on. A big how will I say, violence going on mainly in the province of Guayaquil, Esmeraldas, Manabí.
Yeah.
So the new president, Daniel Noboa, he decreed curfew. So since last week, now we are with a curfew from 10 p.m. until 5 a.m.
Okay.
So no civil citizens can be out on the roads, on the streets, or the restaurants are closed. All the businesses should be closed after 11. Sorry, it's 11 p.m. And in our case, for example, we work on evenings. We have to ship the flowers to the airports, and sometimes they have to come back after 11. We can move around if we have the invoice and also the ID of the company.
Okay.
So then the army or the police. At the moment, the army is the one that is handling all the security, and the police they have to they are supervised by the army now, and so you can move the trucks around with the invoice and with the company ID, and then you don't have problems. So you can move around the trucks.
Are there any immediate effects on flower production or exports when it comes to?
I'm glad to tell you that there's no problem going on in the highlands of Ecuador. I would say the province of Cotopaxi. There's a very important production site. Many people know Lasso, Cotopaxi, La Tacunga, the province of Pichincha, where Cayambe is located, and the province on the north, Imbabura, where we have also some production. There's no problem at all. It's business as usual. Of course, we have to. We cannot be at night walking around. The cities are closed at night, but whatever thing related to business is open. We don't have any issues. We don't have violence in these villages. I think because of the flower industry, because the flower industry has given a lot of work to young people without experience, people without university studies, and so we bring we have a lot of labor with good wages in Ecuador. Minimum wage has increased, and with all the benefits is around $650, $700. So it's a very decent wage compared to South America. And so we don't have violence in our cities, and our workers arrive on time. We have the buses, the transport taking our workers to the places. Of course, we have increased our security level, more cameras, more guards on the gates. We check all the police records of the people we hire. So there's a little bit more of increase in the security checks. But aside of that, it's business as usual.
That's fantastic. That's the news I wanted to share. Was that it's business as usual and there's nothing to be afraid of. So one question I'm pretty sure many people have, is this going to affect, and I might have asked, what supply and or pricing do you believe?
I don't. It doesn't have anything to do with pricing. Pricing will be offer and demand as it always is in Valentine.
Exactly.
It's a fully free market, so it will depend on each company, the production level, the demand for Valentines. The airport at Quito, which is where 90% of the flowers are shipped, it's is under army control. So very, very strict security systems going on, and we haven't seen any disruption at all. So we expect that to be to keep like that for the next couple of weeks.
Fantastic. And it's how long? I guess it's really hard to say, but how long are they expecting this to go on?
The decree sent by the president, it's 60 days. We have two decrees. We have the decree of curfew,
Yes.
and we have another decree, which is internal, they call it internal turmoil.
Okay.
That we think that will keep for longer until the government takes control of the jail system, and the violence on the cities close to the ports in these provinces that I mentioned before.
Fantastic. So what we've gotten out of this conversation is basically the flow of flowers, pricing's the same, your workforce is the same. Just around you, there's chaos, but within the flower world, we're as normal, correct?
Yes. I mean, social media sometimes increases the exposure to bad news more than what is real. You have to take care when you go out to the streets. Now in Ecuador, we used to be a very peaceful country, and we will go back to be a peaceful country in the next years. But it's not only the Ecuadorian government, and that we have to be clear with that. It has to be the American government, the European community. I will say the countries that are the free countries need to control the narco traffic, the narco gangs. Otherwise, they will get into the society. They will perm society. They will go into companies, into the justice system. They have so much cash flow that Ecuador does not have the same amount of cash that these bands have. So we need international support and have like an international police or international intelligence to deal with this situation.
So correct me if I'm wrong, and again, it is social media where I'm getting this. So is it an internal war? It's a state of war internally? Is that what it's considered?
That's what we talk about. It's like an internal war with these illegal bans, which it's like 22 of them.
Okay.
According to the government, they have neutralized maybe 8 to 10. But I mean, it's very short time, so the government needs to put intelligence into it and neutralize. Now they are allowed to shoot. Before the army were not allowed to shoot. Now, if they have confronting fire, they can shoot. And there's been some criminals being killed.
Wow.
Yes, 2 days ago there was a judge that was killed, a very important judge that was dealing with some very important cases. So there, of course, there are some cases going on, but companies, in our case, we are working as usual. I mean, we have so many people that depends on our businesses that
keep on moving.
We are here, and we are here for long. So
fantastic.
Don't worry about your flowers.
That's great news. David Kaplan, my business partner, Above All Flowers, is asking, do we expect a future change in Ecuador to go off the dollar and return to the sucre, and will that help things?
No. Well, the dollar system remains as long as there's so much influx of dollars into the economy.
Okay.
More than the dollars that are coming out. So far, the economy has been steady, stable. Now, because there's very little international investment, the monetary reserves have gone down. But we think that we'll keep the dollar. There's no talk in the government or about leaving the dollar. The dollar is here to stay. The conflict that we'll get into if we go back to the sucre, it will be dramatic. Of course, the export companies, it will be better for us at the end, because we sell in dollars and sell in sucres.
Of course.
But it will be dramatic. No, I don't think we'll go back to sucre.
Thank you, David, for that question. If there's any other questions, please chime in. But really, Eduardo, thank you again for last minute. I think that this is exactly what we wanted to get out, that everything is, I say the word copacetic, but everything is normal and going and flowing as normal. And we don't see anything happening during Valentine's Day to affect either flow and or supply. So let us know if there's any updates, and I'd love to have you back if something does happen that affects the supply and or flow and pricing of flowers. So I think it's very important to get this message out.
I think one thing I can also tell you is that the weather is nice in Ecuador these few
Fantastic.
days.
Great.
So it's a beautiful sunny day. We have beautiful sunny days.
Okay.
So flowers are coming clean. We expect production to go up in this weekend, and will level. We will not have a peak like it happened a few years ago. We'll have like an increase in production. I will say picking up maybe 23rd, 24th, and keeping like that until the second. That's what we have seen in Expo Flores with all the data from the producers.
That's fantastic. So this production out of Ecuador is going to be steady this year.
It's going to be steady this year. We'll not have this low production, and then suddenly in 2-3 days you block all the agencies and the coolers. So I think we'll be more open.
So we're not going to be early or late. We're just on time, we're saying.
I think maybe a couple of days earlier, but nothing dramatic that we cannot handle.
Fantastic. That's great news to hear. That's great news to hear. I'm pretty sure everybody would be very happy to hear that. So again, Eduardo, millón de gracias in Spanish. And thank you so much for your time, and truly hope that this added value. And I really want to encourage our viewers, if you're a wholesaler, share this with your florists to create confidence. If you're a distributor, share it with your wholesalers. The reason why Eduardo and I did this was to give you that information so you could share with your audience, your customers, to create a peace of mind. So we know that we're on the right track and everything's doing okay in Ecuador. So Eduardo, thank you very much. And thank you to the audience for spending your 5 p.m. happy hour with us. Appreciate it.
Thank you very much. And I wish you all the best in this Valentine season.
Likewise. Take care to everybody. Wishing you all the best of Valentine's. Take care.
All the best.
Thank you, Eduardo.
Thank you very
Bye-bye.
much.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
The Bloom Show. Innovate, connect, and bloom.